And welcome back, guys, to another edition of the Rockhound channel. My name is William, guys, and today we're going to go ahead and rerun over a topic that was, I guess, a little confusing for some folks, and I'm sorry about that. So today's episode is about straightening out your materials and what materials you can use at home to do this job without having to buy them, like the big expensive ones that you see on some of the fancy mining sites. And believe me, straighteners are very important for both fields of what I do. That includes going out rock hunting and, of course, the gold mining. So today I'm going to go ahead and run through the basics of what to pick up, how to use them, and then we're going to go ahead and end the video with some more Q&A that was brought up on my my channel over at Facebook. That was kind of interesting. So here we go. So first and foremost, guys, when it comes down to what you're doing mining wise, now if you're in an area where you think that you're getting a hold of the nice fine chip gold and such, this is your best bet. This one here is a basic, like one of those file folder deals that you throw paperwork in. Very cheap. You can get them over at the office supplies area at Walmart. Very awesome. Reason why I like these is because of that fine grade screen. Now this is a little bit bigger than what you would find basically in your home screens. So what's a home screen look like? That's what you got for a home screen. Very, very fine holes. Your flour will go through there, possibly some of your wires. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're running into any kind of flake, any kind of little nodules, nuggets, whatever, it's not going to fit through there, guys. It's going to end up with your gravels. And I'll show you what that looks like in a few minutes. So, with that said, also, I've got one of those very same kind of deals there with that very fine screen. This here is something you would use for basically like rice or whatnot, any of your fine noodles. This one was a little expensive if you were to look into it like a cooking store. I didn't see any of these at Walmart. They may have them now. I got this at a rummage sale, and I think I only paid like $2 for it. Another one. This is another style of strainer. Got this one at Goodwill for about $1. This has got a little bit of bigger holes in it, as you can see. And this is great for trying to pick out all the tiny pebbles. The things that will not be caught here will definitely be caught either here or there. So yes, it is a 3-step process. And I usually try to do it as a 3-step process, so I know without a doubt, I've got all of those tiny little irritating pebbles, tiny little stones, whatnot, that's going to end up messing up the sluice box process. Now, I run pretty aggressive mats, as you've seen from my previous videos, so you know what that looks like. I try to run it down to almost bare sand and just blacks. So, we're going to go ahead, get started on how to do this, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So first off, step one, if you guys have already done, most of your classifying, whatnot, at the source where you were panning, this is another way of doing this if you're at home. Now I'm going to start with the bigger guy here. Now in there right now is a total of 1 cup of sand. I try to go as small as possible. That way I'm not overloading these things. And that also improves the life of what you have here, because they're not really made for this purpose. So keep it down to small loads, and then make certain that you're always measuring out your stuff, so that way you know what you're doing here. So with the 1 cup of material in there, I'm going to simply take my little makeshift strainer here, submerge it into water. Right away it's going to start melting away. As you can tell, very easy work. I'm going to take that stuff make certain all my material's out. And that's the end result of that particular strainer. You can see you're going to want to inspect it. Be sure that you're looking for anything that may be gold in there. I'm going to get you to the light. Now, I don't see anything gold in there just yet. A lot of little twigs and such, tiny pebbles. And this is a good way of getting these out. Now remember, if you're running anything like a VMAT, those very pebbles right there are going to be your demise, because they are the ones that will end up kicking out your tiny flower gold out of them VMATs, those little tiny grooves. And unfortunately, it'll end up back down into the batch, and you'll have to repeat the process again. So next step, if you've already got this down to pass this, we're going to go to step 2 here in a second. Okay, step 2. I went ahead, loaded up our other rice strainer, and this is going to be the little bit smaller grade compared to this. We've already seen what that can grab. We're going to see what this can grab here. And believe me, it does a little bit, of both jobs. I just like to make certain I have my options, just like any other miner would. So, without further ado, we went ahead and put 1.5 cups of that in there, because it's a bigger unit and it's got a little bit of a deeper pocket in there, so we can run this quicker. So here we go. So with your bowl in hand, take it in, shake it out. Okay? Shake it out. And you notice there's a big old rock in there. That's for the purpose of the video. So yes, it'll catch it, and it'll catch everything else. As you can see, there's all my little stuff. There's that big old rock. It's a good way of washing those stones too. So even if you find materials that might have the black sands or whatnot, and you're not sure if there's gold on it, just don't question it. Just put it in the bucket, bring it home. You very well may have gold in it. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead. You see what's in there. I don't see any flecks, no flakes, nothing that looks like there might be anything. I got a piece of quartz in there. It's really nice. Maybe some agate. Some decent little stuff in there. Nothing that I could possibly facet. So remember that too. This process can help you also find small gemstones. And I've been doing that quite a bit over the course of the few years I've been doing this at the Wisconsin River. Now, as you can see, yes, the water is going to get nasty. And that's okay, because that will eventually come out with the water once you dump the reservoir. You can also modify these in maybe a later date. When you get the materials ready, you can also put a small spigot hole at the bottom of these, where you can just push the material with your hand off to the corner. That way you know all this is cleaned, and you can go ahead and just pop that spigot open, drain it safely without having to strain your back. I have one of these sitting over in my basement that I've done just that too. Picked up some things at Home Depot. That way I can throw a spigot on it, quick open, drain it, and then proceed to go ahead and get my materials back out and return them into a bucket. Alright, onward to step 3. So step 3 is super awesome. I like this. This is the biggest benefit about these kind of strainers. They can literally sit on top of the rim of your totes that you're using. As long as they're small, you can use one of these on top of your totes. They do work on both kinds. I like these. I got these at Walmart. Excellent purchase. I think this one here was like $8. That one was a little bit more. I think like 15. I think got them around Christmas at the same time, so that was probably a bad idea. But I desperately needed them for my basement doing this work. So they may be cheaper nowadays. This was like 2 years ago. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and take this through step 3 and show you what that looks like after it's done. Okay, so here's step 3. Now, reason why I got so much sitting in there is because this is actually a stronger unit than what it looks like. It's made out of stainless steel, woven stainless steel screen. I'm thinking roughly about 200 mesh to 500 mesh. It's really fine, super fine stuff. definitely ideal if you've already done all of these steps in the field and gotten it down to just sands, and you want to be sure all your little pebbles are out, and you just want to inspect to see if you got flakes in there. This is your best go-to screen. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and submerge that, and you're going to watch exactly what happens here. Now I'm going to use the one that's clean so you can all see what happens. Now right away you can see it start melting away. I'm going to start moving that stuff around with my hand. You can take a cup or whatnot to the material. This also helps you try to kind of all the mud clumps. Now I get a lot of clay where I'm at. As you see, there's a lot of this gray clay. This stuff is red. It turns into almost a black clay, and it's very pliable. Now pay mind, make certain that you keep your clay balls. They definitely are going to have gold in them, and this is the perfect strainer for that. So in my center of my strainer, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of grade that right through the whole system. I got plenty of little clay chunks in there, and we're going to go ahead and just keep... Ooh, wow, there was one right there. I had seen that right in the daylight. That was incredible. Let's get you down there. There you go. Now, mind you, some flakes will go ahead and pass through the screen, and that's a good thing. But you always want to be sure. One of the most important things I can give you advice on is to be sure that you're keeping all your gravels. And anything that you have in any of your strainers, you want to be sure that you're keeping a hold of, including your big boys, because you never know what might be in that. Doesn't look very, suspicious or likable to have gold in there. Now, this is sandstone. Pay mind. I'm at the Wisconsin River, guys. This is what you're going to see. A lot of sandstone. And that's where this gold is coming from. Somehow, some way, mysteriously, it's coming out of this stuff. So keep that in mind. We can crush this stuff. It's very easy to do. I do it in a coffee can, a metal coffee can, with a little deal that I made up with some heavy rolled steel. I made like a ram, and it just, you just keep pouncing on it like a mortar and pestle until it's a fine powder. Now you can run that independently from all your other stuff in a pan, so you know that your gold is somewhere close. Whatever's captured in here will definitely show up in your pan. So, with that said, let's go ahead and bring that up. I'm going to inspect some of this right now. Still got some clay in there. It's a good way of getting rid of the vegetation too. You're going to come across that wherever you go. It's always everywhere. Not seeing any tiny nuggets. Well, at least not in that spade of dirt. Always be sure that you're doing this on a good day when it's good and sunny out, or if you're downstairs, be sure that you're always got good lighting, so that way you know that gold is going to show up real quick. Like wherever you're at, it's going to show up. Center that stuff. There it is. It's all in the center now. You know where it's at. You can carefully dump that into a small pail for later inspection or crushing. So that's it for this video, guys. I want to thank everybody for dropping on by. If you like this video, please be sure to share it with your friends. And of course, do not forget, this is 2019 season, guys, and I'm nowhere near done with the season. I've got roughly 5 or 6 buckets of material just here alone, and I'm not even done yet. I ended up sick. Was down all day Monday thinking there was something going on with me, and I was supposed to go to work on Tuesday, and oh boy, believe me, it was a mess. Not even going into the gruesome details of it. So I ended up sleeping all day Tuesday. So once again, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and Be sure to hit that notification button. You're not going to want to miss 2019 season. It has been off the hook so far. My next video, which is going to be probably all within the same day. I'm looking at like 4 videos I'm going to do real quick because I'm just so behind on everything. I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the other tools of the trade and kind of give you a recourse on those. And like I said before, be sure to stay around. You're not going to want to miss this. Till then, this is the Rockhound saying, stay safe, guys. Stay panning.